Here we go, ready?
Oh.
Okay, let me turn my phone on vibrate. It's pissing me off.
Welcome to the Almost Sunday podcast. Lucas Kloss, Eli Cron, and no Joel Mendelson today. No son of Mendel, but excellent guest star, Raine Ristic. Welcome, laddie. Good to see you again, as usual. A lot to get to today, but first, we have to start with the most relevant news around the league. We are going to have Trivia Wars later. We'll see if Eli can take on Raine. He's had a lot of trouble with Joel. Let's see if Raine...
Not a lot of trouble. We go to overtime every time. So.
And Joel almost always wins.
Okay.
But we'll figure it out. First, we start with the San Francisco 49ers, who gave the reigning Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey, a new contract extension worth $19 million per year. McCaffrey already sat atop the running back market, averaging $16 million per year. Eli, start with your reaction to this.
He deserves the bag, man. Honestly, he's been playing healthy these last couple seasons in San Fran, and he's one of the best running backs ever. He had a 16-week touchdown streak. That's just incredible. But what I am shocked about is the term. Only 2 years. The top 10 highest paid running backs are all on at least 3-year deals. Josh Jacobs is on a 4-year deal. This kind of shows that they didn't really want to commit to him. I was like, there's a little bit of a lack of faith there. Maybe they think he's going to get injured. They don't really trust his health. And I think he deserves at least a 3-year contract.
I would agree that they kind of gave him the short end of the stick on the term. You really see, especially a player like Christian McCaffrey, who's been, when he's healthy, last year he displayed it. He's arguably the best offensive player in the NFL, barring quarterback skill position. 2 years, it's, risky. He's not making that much money when you look at all the big money getters, skill position players in the NFL. It's a little short, but as Eli said, he deserves the money. I agree with him.
Yeah, you have to pay him because he really is the catalyst for that offense. I know some people are super extra high on Brock Purdy. I'm not really in that group as much. I think he's serviceable, but he's not a star. And McCaffrey is just a bona fide stud, and he runs the offense. Goes through him. As soon as they get him rolling, the play action opens up, and you get Debo and Ayuk off that, and Kittle occasionally. To me, you have to pay him. And $19 million for, it's only 2-year extension, but his health is a little bit of a concern because, again, he still is undersized. He's always been undersized. Now, he did take a ton of punishment last year and showed that he could take it, but how long as a running back at that size can you endure that much punishment? I don't really know, and it seems like the Niners are skeptical as well.
I'd say good business on the Niners' part, just because I think a lot of people were skeptical on the trade last year, acquiring McCaffrey. I think people didn't really think that the Niners necessarily needed that good of a running back to succeed in their system.
Yeah.
But McCaffrey really did prove that he can take that run game to the next level, whether he's, catching passes, just taking 20 touches, 25 touches a game, taking them for 5+ yards. He is just that much better than the average running back.
Yeah, it really seemed like if they could just inject any running back, he was getting 5 yards a clip, and it was why bother? And then McCaffrey would just get into the secondary and just take it to the house, and you're like, oh, that's why, I guess. All right.
That's why you pay him.
Okay, next, CJ Stroud making a lot of noise in the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. Stroud was asked to compare the careers of Aaron Rodgers and Eli Manning, and he picked Eli Manning's career over Rodgers. Raine, agree or disagree with Stroud?
I love A-Rod. I think he's, one of the most talented to ever play, but I probably would take Eli Manning's career. I'll take the 2 rings. I'll take that success over Tom Brady, the greatest to ever do it. And just to have that on your resume is really something special. And to surpass the lesser brother of Peyton, he's really, rising his own value. He's not just name value. He's not just Peyton Manning's little bro. He's really that guy in that moment. And he proved it to be for the Giants. And I think that's kind of why Stroud is choosing Eli's career over A-Rod.
Hey, I would go with my fellow Eli as well. Come on, I'm not letting down a fellow Eli. Just the fact that he beat Brady on that crazy season. No one thought the Giants would win that year. He willed them to a Super Bowl over that goated Pats team. It's that's enough for me right there. Even if he only had 1 ring, I would still put him over Rodgers. That was just a crazy accomplishment, man. No one thought it would happen, and he was the one to do it. Eli, he has my stamp of approval.
Okay. Well, you definitely can't put him above Rodgers if he only had one Super Bowl, because then Rodgers also has one, and he has all the MVPs, you know?
But Rodgers hasn't done it like a crazy comeback kind of story, or an underdog story.
They were a wild card team as well, the Packers, when they won that Super Bowl. The Bears won the division, and they beat the Bears. I mean, it was Caleb Haney because Cutler was out.
But you're not going against like a franchise or a like dynasty team, though.
I mean, they were going against Pittsburgh, which is like, you know, pretty cornerstone.
But it's not the Patriots, the Patriots.
Patriots.
Right?
It's pretty crazy to look at both their careers, and obviously, you know, A-Rod is, as we all know, one of the most talented to ever do it. But Eli really did hold his own in his career. He really gave himself an argument to being at that level of an Aaron Rodgers who has multiple MVPs, a Super Bowl. You know, it's really crazy that Eli was able to do that for a guy who was always regarded as, you know, not an average quarterback, a little bit above average quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, he was like the opposite of Peyton Manning, where it's like Peyton Manning, it seemed a lot of the times, would lose against teams he had no business losing against. But in the playoffs, Eli Manning, or even in the regular season, would suddenly just turn it up. In the last game of that regular season in the 07 year against the Pats, they lost to them in the last game for like 38-35, something like that. And it was like, whoa, why was that such a shootout? And he just like stepped up and was like, okay, this is crazy. Now, I agree with Stroud. I would definitely take Manning's career just because the 2 rings is the 2 rings. I know we're not playing Would You Rather, but say, you know, you have like someone like Peyton Manning versus, I don't know, someone with like a couple more rings. Troy Aikman, you know, who has 3 rings and Peyton Manning only has 2. Like, then who would you take?
To Eli's point about him having the wins over Brady, I really think if any wins in the Super Bowl have a little bit more value, I think like what he did was truly special. I think the accomplishments in the Eli and A-Rod scenario, that's like what weighs it a little differently than an Aikman to a Manning, I guess. I'm not familiar with how many MVPs Aikman has, if he even has any.
I think it's 0.
So Peyton's like just so accomplished, as we know, and in that tier of the top, you know, the A-Rods, the Bradys, in those top quarterbacks of all time. And I just think like Peyton weighs him out a little more in like personal accomplishments than like what Eli did. I think like you could weigh them pretty evenly, A-Rod and Eli.
Okay, yeah, couldn't agree more, in fact. Okay, fine. All right, next, Trevor Lawrence asked about seeking a new deal before the season, and he said, I have full belief that that'll take care of itself, and that's nothing I need to worry about. Eli, would you commit to Trevor Lawrence?
I would. I haven't been his biggest supporter, but I don't think we've seen a ceiling yet. He's still young. He's 24 years old, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So there's time to grow there still. And there have been shades of excellence from him. He's had amazing games. It's just trouble with consistency from what I've seen so far. So I think that's just growing pains. If the Jags want to move off of him, it might be a nightmare for them. They might have to go through a rebuild type situation. So I would keep on going with Trevor Lawrence. You got to just go all in on him and surround him with the best pieces you can and really try to go for a championship here. And like last season, we saw what they did. That crazy comeback game in the playoffs in the wild card round there against the Chargers, right? They were down 27 at the first half, I think. Came all the way back.
24, something like that.
Something like that, like a crazy comeback. They came all the way.
4 interceptions that half, or 3 interceptions, right?
Yeah. But it just shows that team has some sort of grit to them, but it definitely has to be fleshed out a little bit more. But keep T-Law. Keep him.
It's hard for them to jump ship on the Lawrence wagon just like so fast. You know, I'm a true believer in letting your quarterback, believing in your rookie quarterback and letting him develop.
You could also jump or ship, or you could wait.
That's true. And I think that's the smart decision. I think they could really ride this out. They have a good team, as Eli said. They should focus on surrounding him with more and more talent. But on the other hand, they had a great team. They went out and got Calvin Ridley last year, and those two didn't really connect well whatsoever. He kind of fell to like the third option behind Ingram and Kirk. T-Law has a lot of room to improve. I don't think he's yet hit that sort of mark that we thought he would be coming into the league. It'd be a rash decision for them to move on from T-Law. I think they should really believe in him.
But here's my thing. 3 years with the team and 3 wins 1 year, 9 wins another year, just missed the playoffs, win the division another year and a playoff game. Now, a quarterback who did the exact same thing, but they won one more playoff game, Jared Goff, and he just got paid serious money again. So to me, I think it's a no-brainer that not only should they do it, but they will do it, I think, before this season even starts, because Jags have been a complete joke my entire life. Even if they made the playoffs, you're like, come on, what are we doing here?
Like the Cleveland Browns.
Call
It's
it
a complete
day.
joke.
Like, he's the only survivor from that draft. I think at least all the other first round quarterbacks from that draft are backups or worse. Last year, 8-3, playing for the first place in the conference against the Ravens, and then obviously not only did they get outclassed as a team, but he gets hurt in that game. And then he was bad after that, but he's playing with a high ankle sprain. That second half of the year was just a complete mess. And it's like, maybe people want to see more touchdowns, but as soon as they get in the red zone, Etienne is the guy, They just feed him. So it's like, I don't know if what people aren't really seeing, okay, he fumbles too much when it rains a little bit. I get that. But I think he is going to be an absolutely amazing quarterback in this league. I think in a couple of years from now, we're going to talk about him in the top 5, whereas now no one even talks about him like that. And people talk about Herbert even being better, which I still can't quite wrap my head around. And Herbert, who already got the bag, right?
If you're going to move on from something, it might be Doug Peterson first.
Yes, I think he's on the hot seat for sure.
Yeah, I think Doug Peterson would be the one to get the shift for the Jags before T-Law, because I think they're on board with what we're saying. I think they're committed to him, and they understand that he's super talented. As you said, the team's improving year after year with him. Why abandon that? With Peterson, I don't know. The team I feel like they improved on paper going into this season, and it didn't really show on the field. They were a solid team, but my expectations were a little higher. And I think if you were to make a change, it's at head coach and not at quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with that. And especially we've seen Peterson comes from the Andy Reid line of coaches, right? His branch. And just like Reid's, maybe earlier in Reid's career, this was much more of an issue where it's like sometimes they just get away from the run game right away and try to get too cute. He's trying to prove something. And it's like, man, just use the talent you have. Let's get the run game going here and let's keep things simple. There's no reason these games should be as close.
With how high scoring they would be, I figured they would be in a lot of positive game scripts. I thought Etienne was going to be like a 1,300, 1,400 rushing guy this year. I thought he looked phenomenal in his season after getting a season-long injury in his rookie season, his true rookie, his sophomore rookie season, whatever you want to call it. He looked great. And then last year he was kind of, used a little odd. He didn't really break out the same way that I thought he would.
Yeah, it really seemed to fall off as the year went on.
Yeah, I just want to touch on T-Law again a bit here. If he were to go, it would have to be for a comparable quarterback, similar to a Goff and Stafford trade situation, where I could see that actually making sense. Just kind of a change of scenery, get a different guy in there, same skills.
Here's the thing. To me, there's a 0% chance he gets dished out. I think the only two options are he either gets paid right now, or the much less likely option is they just wait and see how he plays this year to decide what kind of contract they want to give him. Because you can tell, with the Dolphins, they don't want to give Tua that big money, and I think they're correct. But I think with Lawrence, they're not, looking at the same issues. A high ankle sprain, much more of a fluke than the issues that Tua deals with.
Yeah.
And I think with that Stafford and Goff deal, it was it's such a rare deal that would happen, and it just kind of was the perfect storm in both places where
they both won.
Yeah.
Stafford's time had ran out in Detroit, and the Rams were looking to take that next step to win a Super Bowl, and it worked out for both teams exactly.
Next, Minnesota Vikings and star wide receiver Justin Jefferson agreed to a 4-year, $140 million contract extension that includes $110 million guaranteed. This makes him the highest paid non-QB in NFL history. Raine, thoughts on the Jefferson deal?
I think he's the best wide receiver in football. I think he's proven that since he's entered the league that he was going to be at that point, and he has kind of just improved somehow year after year. No matter who's at quarterback, Justin Jefferson still gets his. Obviously, it's a lot of money, but that's just where the NFL's going, right? It's just going to pay these skill positions more and more year after year. And I think they're just ahead of the jump a bit.
Yeah, Kirk getting injured and leaving really was a blessing in disguise for them, because now so much money's freed up. They can give JJ the bag, and rightfully so, man. Same thing you said, just the best best wide receiver in the league right now.
Would you rather have Justin Jefferson or Tyreek Hill?
I'll take Tyreek. I've had him on my fantasy team for the last 2 seasons. He hasn't disappointed. The guy is nuts. Yards after catch is insane. Like Jefferson too, but man, Hill's just he's the cheetah on another level. You got guys like Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb who are close, but still Jefferson, you can clearly say that he is the best. And most people won't argue against you on that.
I think. Yeah, I think he's the best, most complete. There are things that Tyreek Hill I think can do that he can't, but I think there's things that Jefferson can do that Tyreek can. I did touch on this last episode where we're saying in a big moment, I trust Jefferson way more. I think there's more that Tyreek Hill can do that Jefferson can't do, but I would trust Jefferson more in a big game. Because in all the big games for Miami last year, Tyreek Hill has a defining play that was dog.
Cold hands for Tyreek too. He plays terrible in the cold weather. JJ, Minnesota, right? He plays in these snowy games.
They play in Green Bay and they play in Chicago.
Yeah.
He's just so adaptable to any situation, JJ. I just find that being said, I'm not trying to take anything away from Tyreek Hill. They both get theirs in different ways and they're both phenomenal. But JJ, he has the size, he has the athletic ability, the speed, the understanding, the route running. In my opinion, he made Kirk look like a better quarterback than he is.
Oh, 100%.
Hey,
I don't know if you knew this, Raine, but
Kirk
Eli has
feeding him dimes. He was feeding him dimes. Just
he's a love affair with Kirk Cousins.
In the old bread basket, man. I could have been there instead of JJ and getting all these touchdowns.
I think you should be making $110 million guaranteed, Eli.
Well, I wouldn't go that high.
Yeah,
actually.
walk him right in there.
69 million would be perfect.
Yeah, you can take Jordan Addison's spot.
Exactly.
JJ's also not like a diva, though. He's not like a disturber. Like lots of these other stars, and I respect that about him. He just goes, he plays his game, he plays lights out, he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure about. You never see that recording where he screams at Kirk, being like,
I've seen him
wide
open in the end zone, being like, "What the Kirk?"
That being said, I've seen every wide receiver get.
They're all divas. Yeah, the majority of them are divas.
But he's not as bad as those other stars, like AJ Brown. Oh man, that guy goes nuts on the sidelines.
Yeah, he hasn't reached the pinnacle of Diggs or Brown yet. But
you think he will though?
He could easily.
You think so?
I'm not ruling that out at all, man. Like I feel like it's open for most receivers. I've seen Tyreek Hill throw tantrums. Like, come on.
One bad year from JJ McCarthy, and JJ is going to be chucking helmets into the stands. And
100%. Not every receiver can have the
what did Odell
stage
do?
mentality of Larry Fitzgerald.
Odell threw his helmet into the field goal,
the kicking net and smashed his own head with it. Yeah,
I could see that, for sure.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people saying things like, the wise football heads move on from these wide receivers and move on from these running backs because wide receivers and running backs, for whatever reason, are just coming out of college in droves, and you can get really high talent at those positions and pay a lot less. Whereas positions like offensive linemen and defensive linemen always get paid in free agency because it's so much harder of a position to fill. I still would give Jefferson that bag. You're not paying your new rookie quarterback anything, obviously. Jordan Addison, you're still not paying anything, young guy. You brought in Aaron Jones, okay, that's just going to help the young quarterback a ton. Hawkinson's still there. So I think, you're just helping the development of him, even if you move on Jefferson in 4 or 5 years. But, yeah, no, I just maybe I'm not as wise as they are.
No, I like that because you look at what the Packers did, which was a perfect scenario for them where I don't think any other team could really do that, fielding that many rookies this year and having that offense really come together like it could. Yeah. And on the other side of the coin, you have Bryce Young, who was surrounded by little to no talent and looked like complete garbage last year.
Adam Thielen, you forget about him?
He's about going on 35 or something around that mark.
Plays like he's 20.
Yeah,
not quite.
He had a couple decent games last year.
He was really, but once I feel like the second half of the year they figured out, they're like, let's just stop this old boy over here and we're okay.
DJ Chark too. Come on now.
DJ Chark.
We can't let this guy catch every 3rd and 4. Eventually, we got to just
DJ
stop
Legend.
this old boy.
I still believe in Bryce Young. This isn't a topic at all, but I think if you were able to surround that guy with some talent, you would see the true potential. What
You
they're
can't write him
going to
off.
go for with JJ McCarthy in Minnesota. They're going to surround him with as much talent as possible, so they have no excuses.
Okay, next. CeeDee Lamb missing out on $100K by not going to minicamp. It's being reported that he's seeking a new contract that would make him the highest paid wide receiver in the league, even over Jefferson. The guaranteed salary of at least $100 million. Eli, surprised CD hasn't been signed yet.
No, not one bit. He's going to try to push for as much money as he can. The deal's going to get done. Bargaining process sometimes takes longer for these high-skilled players, and that's just what's happening. He wants his money, as much money as he wants. So he's going to get it eventually, I think, but it's going to be a long, drawn-out process.
Again, to what the Vikings just did, they just set the mark, right? So now the Cowboys look at that deal and they have to make their move based on that. I think the Cowboys kind of made a mistake there, not jumping the gun and paying him before Justin Jefferson got paid, because they would just do the exact opposite.
I agree with you, Raine. I'm surprised that he hasn't been signed yet. Not on because of his part. For him, he's just the dollar bill's just going up for him.
He's loving it. Yeah, he's loving it.
He wakes up
training
every day.
camp.
He's like, okay, I don't have to show up to training camp. He's watching Jefferson, AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle. All these guys are moving the mark for his money.
Exactly.
So I am surprised because Dallas has botched this completely. You should have paid him earlier so that you don't have to have this constant moving mark. It's like such strange business from Jerry Jones. I don't get it at all. Whereas, we're looking at other players, Brandon Ayuk, okay, hasn't been paid yet. Why? Because Debo's already been paid. So they don't want to pay two guys the money. T. Higgins, franchised, because they're saving that money for Jamar Chase. Dallas, on the other hand, you are keeping CeeDee Lamb, first-round pick. He's overachieved. Like, he's played a lot better than I'm sure they even expected. You need to pay him. This Jefferson contract affects CD, but it also affects Micah Parsons, because the new thing is not like, ooh, the wide receiver money has changed. I want that. Now it's non-quarterback. So these DNs are changing that now. So Micah Parsons is going to want more than Jefferson. What do you think CD is going to want? And you still haven't paid Dak, and they're not going to pay Dak before the season starts. I think he is in the scenario where they want to see what he can do this season before they decide. But if you are paying now Micah and CD all that money, which is going to be probably $70 million plus for them combined per year, that is a massive chunk out of your salary, and then you can just kiss any contention chances goodbye.
They were just a little scared, I think. Dallas, they didn't want to set the bar too high. They didn't want to be the first team to pay their star wide receiver a shit of money and overpay. But in the same sentence, it's also like you have to overpay these guys, or you can't let them walk. You have to. But it just comes down to not making a fast enough decision.
They're
so bad. They've had so long, and they're just letting it go. It makes no sense.
And they're in such a worse situation cap-wise than a Minnesota, who just got rid of Kirk, just got rid of Danielle Hunter. I think those were the two biggest guys on their books. And so they really have nothing to worry about in terms of paying Jefferson. Like, the Cowboys really needed to budget this deal as much as they could.
Badly.
They're trying to win a Super Bowl, and they're trying to pinch pennies to do it. I don't think they can afford these little millions and millions of increase on CeeDee Lamb's expected salary.
I'm so confused by this because when I look at them, I find them completely dysfunctional, Dallas as an organization, but they draft well. They really have drafted well the past, 5 years at least. I always look at that roster and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of good position groups everywhere. But it just seems like whenever it comes to contract negotiations, Jerry Jones gets so confused, because we saw it with Zeke Elliott back in the day. He held out. Then we saw it with Dak, them not wanting to pay him. And then remember, Jerry Jones said in public to Dak, he's like, yeah, you got the better of me. And it's like, bro, how many times are you going to let this happen?
But Jerry Jones is a dinosaur at this point, man. It's like Joe Biden. Do we expect him to get up the stairs okay to his private jet? Not really. So should we expect Jerry Jones to make these common sense moves for his team? No, kind of shouldn't expect that anymore.
But Stephen Jones should, eventually, come on, McCarthy, help out. We got to figure this out.
That's the thing, right? Is he just
Help.
He's on the laptop, the books. He's like, no. He's like, no one has
No.
a say. I'm negotiating these deals.
Yeah, this is
That's-
Jerry World.
CeeDee
Send
Lamb
help.
is better than Justin Jefferson, and he deserves more money. That's what Jerry Jones is thinking.
This is so
he thinks
silly.
that's how it works. He's like, my guy should be paid the most.
It's baffling.
Back in my day.
Well,
Exactly.
literally one of the reasons why I think Dallas is going to struggle this season. Okay. Last but not least, Aaron Rodgers, gift that keeps on giving, as I always say. He said he is 90% himself and 10% unsure of what's going on with my body.
What does that even mean, bro?
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
That is going through
What
puberty. I'm not sure. Yeah. He also said that if I didn't think the New York Jets could win a Super Bowl and I could win MVP, I wouldn't be playing. So, Raine, let's go with you first here. Your reaction to seeing Aaron Rodgers' words here.
Well, that first bit is a little puzzling and a little concerning for Jets fans and for his friends and family, I guess. I don't know what's going on in his
Yeah.
body. You should maybe disclose that. I do agree with him. I think the Jets are set up to be a really good team with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. I thought you could argue they were honestly one of the better teams around quarterback in the entire NFL. The defense was awesome, and the skill positions are great. Breece Hall had a phenomenal year. Garrett Wilson displayed how good he is, even with the lack of quarterback talent. And I think they had another solid draft this year. There's a lot for a veteran quarterback, one of the best to do it, like Aaron Rodgers, to work with there. And I think you could see something really special, especially with the Bills taking a step back on paper this year, having to let go of a lot of their key veterans. I think this could be a dangerous year for Buffalo and the other teams in that AFC East, because the Jets are going to be a dangerous team.
I think it's a little bit weird what he says. It's kind of contrasting what he says in the first sentence. He's saying he's unsure, 10% unsure what's going on with his body. So then there's uncertainty around his play going to this season already before the season started. Then he also says if he didn't think the New York Jets would win a Super Bowl and he could win an MVP, he wouldn't have gone there. So then why are you saying that you're uncertain about your body going into the season? I would have just kept that to myself, to be honest. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I totally agree. Put in his mouth again. I feel like, someone like Tua Tagovailoa even went like, 10% I'm unsure what's happening with my body, would be like, huh, what?
Yeah. Sorry?
What are you talking
What
about? Kyler Murray said that, like, whoa, what's going on with Kyler? But since it's Rodgers, we're just like, oh, it's just Rodgers saying another weird thing. But,
You can kind of brush it off, right?
it's weird. No, you
Absolutely weird.
shouldn't be saying stuff like that, especially at your age, not just coming off an injury, but at your age, especially when last year you were yapping nonstop about, well, if we're in playoff contention, I'm coming back. And now you're unsure of what's
Back
happening
again.
with your body. Like,
Seriously,
what are you unsure about, bro?
that's got to be some sort of bait. Like, it has to be something to just get the people talking. And
Gets the people going.
he's such a troll. Like,
Bro,
he
it's
could probably-
CTE talking.
Yeah, seriously, he's hearing
No,
voices in
no.
his head.
You don't get
Yeah.
CTE from broken collarbones. But
For
let me-
Achilles, though, I heard you do.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
I'll write that down so I remember. Let me ask you this, Raine. Keep talking about them being dangerous. Do you think that they're going to win the division if you would have to pick right now?
It's hard to imagine. I don't think the Bills are going to win the division. I think it's up to the Dolphins or Jets. Personally, I think that Josh Allen is by far the best quarterback in the division, but I think around quarterback, it's hard to argue that the Bills have anything going over either of those teams. I thought Miami at full strength was arguably the number one offense in the NFL last year. So it's going to be hard for a lot of teams to stop them, but I think the Jets and Dolphins will go to war. I think the Jets have a good defense to foil the Dolphins, and I think that those games will be really intriguing. And I think Rodgers is super motivated, and he's got a super talented team. So honestly, I'll go bold and say that the Jets do take the division
Wow.
this year.
What if
Oh,
Rodgers
oh,
gets
oh.
hurt again, though? And then they have to go back to not Zach Wilson anywhere
What if
anymore.
Josh
They're
Allen
done.
gets hurt? What if Tua Tagovailoa?
No, but Josh Allen hasn't had a history of getting hurt. He didn't just rupture his Achilles on the first play of the game in the last season.
Right.
Okay, it wasn't the first. It was
Okay,
like the third or
whatever.
something.
Rodgers, if he's healthy, which I believe he is, will lead the team to being very successful. Probably
90%.
like 11-6, 12-5 range.
Wow. Okay, so here's my thing. I don't believe in the Jets at all. I think They have sort of a 7 to 8 win game max.
Even with Rodgers healthy.
Even with Rodgers healthy, because here's the thing. Okay, go to war with the Dolphins. Now, I don't think the Dolphins are better this year than they are last year. I think they took a step back. I think the Bills took a step back as well, and the Bills split with the Jets last year. But I think if Josh Allen doesn't, lose the game for the Bills, which he could easily do because he loves to throw 3 picks to one player for no reason.
He does do that.
Because they're missing a lot of receivers, they're going to kind of try to keep it simple with Allen. So he can't be his own worst enemy. So I think he could sweep them easily. Yeah. Now, I don't think Bills are some juggernaut either. And the Dolphins, now we're going to talk about this in a second, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Here's the thing. They outscored the Jets last year in 2 games, 64-13. Now, I get it. Rodgers wasn't there, so the 13 won't be the same. But 64 on Robert Saleh's defense, that's pretty rough.
But it's very I remember one of those games last year. I think they had it was whoever, one of the 5 backups the Jets used last year. He threw a Hail Mary, and there was an 100-yard pick six at the end of halftime. It's one of those games where it's
that's only 7.
Yeah, believe me, I know. But when you're counting up points, I don't know, just garbage time, run out the clock touchdowns. I just think the games will be a lot more competitive. The Jets looked good in some very short instances last year, where it's
really short. When CJ Stroud got injured, and
when I blink, it's over.
When they beat the Chiefs, right? Or am I completely dreaming?
They looked actually. That was Zach Wilson's best game of his career, actually, but they lost.
They almost beat the Chiefs. True.
Yeah.
Okay.
They did beat the Eagles, but
they have a good defense, man. Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner, they have the right pieces to make moves on defense.
Those guys are really talented. Don't get me wrong, but I have no faith in Rodgers, because in his last year with the Packers, he was average at best, and obviously he's now older and missed a year. So now, who can not do their job for over a year, essentially, and basically 2 years now, and come back and not show signs of rust? How long is it going to take for him to shake off that? How much of that rust is he even going to be able to shake off because of his age now? And here's the thing. I get it. Nathaniel Hackett was his OC when he won an MVP, but LaFleur was the one calling the plays. I have no faith in Nathaniel Hackett whatsoever. I think he's way beyond his ski. I think he's confused as to how he still has a job, honestly. And I have also no real faith in Robert Saleh. What he's done over these past 3 years with the losing record he's had and not getting fired is actually a historical anomaly in the NFL. So I find that very strange. So I really don't trust this team whatsoever.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, man. I don't see Rodgers having a great season. He needs to have a great season for the Jets to make the playoffs, I think. He has just an average season. They're not going to make the playoffs. The Bills and the Dolphins are going to beat them for playoff spots.
Okay, next. Raine, Eli, and I, and Joel made our way too early playoff brackets, and we decided all of us would get a couple amendments. After the draft and after free agency, the amendment I made was sticking the Eagles in, and Dallas, to me, is out. And obviously we had a lot of controversy around that, but what can you do? People are going to die for those Cowboys, even Eli, apparently. And Cousins even in on that team.
Dude, okay. All right.
Cheap shot, too easy.
All right.
Okay. Well, what we're going to do is have you take a look at our playoff order here. And first of all, 1, I want you to tell us which one you like better. But 2, what would you change? Who would you move up? Who would you move down, etc.? And start with Eli's order here.
Let it fly. Don't be scared. Fire.
Eli loves the Lions, does he? Eli is a big Lions guy, and so are you. So are you, Lucas. That's looking at this lineup. It's hard for me to say none of these teams are going to make the playoffs, but you do go bold with the Chicago Bears, which is one that I have to look at and think, I am not sure that the Bears are there just yet. I think that they're a solid team. The defense actually looked phenomenal in the second half of last year, especially. They really came to as a unit, but I think that they're going to have some growing pains. A different style of quarterback than Justin Fields, saying they're moving on from a bigger, burlier, run-heavy quarterback to a guy like Caleb Williams, who's, He's a pure passer. He can move around behind the pocket as well, but he's there to throw the ball. They're going to try to get him to throw the ball a lot. And I mean, it doesn't always bode well for rookies. It's good to get them to move the ball around a lot, but he's going to have his interceptions. He's going to have his rough games against good defenses that know how to take down rookie quarterbacks. And I think that they'll probably just get edged out in the division they're in.
I'll say this just because we both have the Bears in as our 7 seeds, is the Bears won 70 games last year, and they got the number 1 pick not because of how bad they were, it's because the Panthers were horrific and they had the pick. So for me, like you said, the defense after the Sweat trade, they were way better, leaps and bounds. You bring in DeAndre Swift, who is not an amazing running back, but he's an above-average running back. And then you have, Cole Kmet at tight end, who's an above-average tight end. You have Rome Odunze, DJ Moore. You have Keenan Allen. So I just think from an offensive standpoint, all the weapons are there. My only worry with them, now I will say they are in my 7th seed. They are the team I'm most worried about in my NFC to make it. But the coach is my biggest red flag. Is Eberflus the guy? And if he isn't, I think we need to figure that out really fast, and they need to figure it out really fast. But I do think the Bears are going to sneak in.
This was my reach of a spot. Like, this is a bold prediction. They have a lot of talent. And I think Caleb Williams, there's so much hype around him for a good reason. This guy might be better than Jordan Love in his first year or CJ Stroud in his first year. And you see what CJ Stroud did with the Texans in his first year there, right? So I think you're looking at the cons of the rookie quarterback, but I'm looking at the pros right now. He could absolutely pop off in a way that Justin Fields just could never do.
In the long run, I 100% would have to agree. I'm not a Justin Fields hater. I think he's a decent quarterback, something that you have to work with and kind of mold your offense around. It looked decent in spurts. Again, if they kind of built towards that, they may have had something. But I just think it's a little quick. It's a tight division. I think you guys are leaving out my boys, the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think they proved last year that they're no slouch. Both ends of the ball. Rachaad White proved to be a beast last year. The O-line got a little bit stronger. They drafted O-line. Baker Mayfield just signed a big contract. He's going to be playing for that money.
Here's what I forgot about you.
This team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are a little more in the moment. They have the best safety in the NFL. There's a lot of veterans and players who have been there, done that in the playoffs, in late season on the Buccaneers, that they won that division last year. I don't think there's any reason they can't do it again. No, besides the Falcons, nobody really improved.
The Buccaneers, to me on paper, they're a good team. They're not a great team to me. I forgot about your love affair with Baker Mayfield. Forgot that you used to be a Browns fan and now you're a Bucs fan.
And a Panthers fan in between there, don't forget.
Okay.
And a Rams fan for like a couple weeks.
Yeah, you just jump ship like no one's business.
Actually, the Rams games were a lot of fun.
Oh
I can't lie. That's what got him his job back.
Okay. So, beat the Raiders last second. Whoopty. Here's the thing. I think they were kind of lucky last year. We're in the sense that the division was bad, like really bad. And I agree. I don't think anyone in that division took a huge leap. I think the Falcons are better, though. And I do think the Saints are probably a slightly better team they were last year, and same with the Panthers. Nothing like,
What did the Saints do?
They shored up their O-line and stuff like that. Nothing crazy. It wasn't overly impressive, but just
the Saints must be the oldest team in the NFL at this point, though.
I think they were last year.
Are aging. And I see that as a team that's got to take 2 steps back to take, those steps forward. I thought Derek Carr also looked a bit of a disaster last season.
Yeah, listen, I'm no Derek Carr fan, but the Saints won 9 games. And they
found a way.
And also, I think it was kind of a fluky year for the Bucs. And, I did really like their draft, but they're also kind of an aging team. Their defense is getting older. If Mike Evans deals with any sort of long-term injury, it's GG, it's over. To me, there's no way that Godwin, I think, is a good player. I don't think he can take that role up. And Mike Evans was fantastic with Baker last year. They clearly they just connect. But other than that, I'm not super impressed with what I saw. I do like Rachaad White. I think he's a good running back. But they have, I don't know, something with them. They have like a really predictable offense.
Believe me, I watched that offense in the first half of the year was absolutely brutal, and they sort of kind of found their way as the season went on, but I think they showed kind of, beating the Eagles in the playoffs, and undermanned Eagles, don't get me wrong, and a dysfunctional Eagles
A
that
broken Eagles team. They walked in that
but
game.
hey, the Lions game was a good one too. They put up a great fight
Yes,
against Detroit
for
as
sure.
well. I think the team really rallied around Baker as the season went on. He started to play better, and it proved in their performances. I'm not a Todd Bowles supporter.
No, me neither.
He was a big issue, and I think that's part of why they weren't as successful. Dave Canales is gone as well. They hired Dave Canales one season to be the OC, and he's in Carolina now. So I think they look at their season last year, and even though they made the playoffs, got past the first round, they're looking to build as well. So I think I'm not trying to be biased, but I think the Bucs have something to prove, and I think they'll be back this year.
Baker's a new OC every single year. I swear to God, he's never once had a back-to-back.
Can we credit the guy on being the most adaptable quarterback in the NFL?
No, we can't. He's not the most adaptable quarterback.
Oh, he doesn't get actually.
Why? Who's more adaptable? Who's had more?
Kirk Cousins.
More offenses.
Kirk Cousins.
I would
He went
say-
through a crazy injury.
I would give it to Kirk Cousins even, but I'm sure I could come up with more if I had more time. I mean, he went from the Browns to he was like
four
they were
coaches on the
fun. Yeah.
Browns, something along those lines.
He wasn't adapting, was he? And then he got shipped right out and didn't adapt to Carolina.
It's hard to adapt to whatever they had going on in Carolina.
It wasn't working, but if he's that guy,
Adapter.
adapt the F out of it.
So you'd get rid of the Bears and add Bucks instead?
The Bucks, at least. I think there's a couple teams I'd even maybe fancy over the Bucks. I think
Fire away.
You can maybe throw the Seahawks in there.
What?
Dude, listen, I'm the biggest Seahawks guy out there, and I don't think they're making it. Why do you think they're making it?
Because they're a solid team. And they dealt with some injury last year as well. I think JSN's ready to take a big step forward.
I mean, Geno took a big step back, though.
Yeah, yes and no. I think he was okay last year, but it wasn't solely based on him.
A 1 year older Geno.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
That's a rough division too, honestly.
That is the thing. They play in the toughest division. It's going to be hard. There's no free wins, especially with the Cardinals are going to be a sneaky team this year.
The Cardinals aren't going to be. They're not going to be.
You guys think the Cardinals have any chance of making the playoffs?
I think if anyone, if we're talking about real sleeper teams,
because I don't hate it.
Like, I mean, a real sleeper team, not like the Packers or like something like that.
Yeah.
Then I think the Cardinals is not a bad choice.
It would be the Cards out of the NFC.
Something like that, because Kyler can play. That the problem with Kyler is not like his talent. Kyler can flat out play. I think they've gotten better in all aspects of the game. Also, that coach I think is pretty good. Eagles DC when they went to the Super Bowl, and sure he got completely outclassed by Andy Reid in the Super Bowl, but okay.
It's all based on just how good Harrison is this year one.
And I think he's going to be electric.
Absolutely think he's going to come into the league and set it on fire.
Yep,
but especially with a quarterback like Kyler, he's worked with an elite wide receiver before.
He's going to get fat.
So would you take Cards over Bears then?
Probably not. As you guys said, I mean, like the Bears really are gearing towards being a solid team. Like now, I mean, I don't know why else they would go out and get Keenan Allen, like to purely develop Caleb Williams for 1 to 2 years. Like I think they look at their team and say, like, we had a great defense last year in the second half of the year. If we can just support this guy who we think is generational, we can win our division. I think they're absolutely looking at it.
If not this year, then next year they're looking at it. Trying to win a Super Bowl and a rookie contract, which all teams try to do when they have that guy.
If they think Caleb's that much better than Jared Goff, then they could beat the Lions and then they can win the division. That's like how they're obviously going to be breaking it down. And I don't hate the Bears pick. I don't think it's impossible. I just think like a lot of moves happened, and a big one at quarterback. It's not like you're bringing in like a 1-for-1 similar type of quarterback. It's going to shift the way the offense moves and operates. And I just think that they could, as I said, just experience some growing pains in the first year.
All right, last thing for the NFC, because we already know that you prefer the Eagles over Dallas. I have the Niners as a wild card team losing the division to the Rams. I know Joel's not here, but he also has the Niners, just like Eli, winning the division. And I'm not sure if he even has them in the playoffs.
You have the Rams winning the division.
I'm loving the Rams this year. I'm big time on the Rams. I don't
have the Rams making playoffs.
I think they're a flat-out Super Bowl contender. I think Puka Nacua has emerged as one of the great receivers in the league. Still have Cooper Kupp there, who we already know what he can do. They drafted another running back to pair with Kyren Williams, who was really, really good last year. People don't really know
They drafted Blake Corum,
his name, yeah.
the Michigan running back. I think they drafted.
Paired up with Kyren Williams, the Sean McVay calling those plays. And you know what? I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Robinson,
What about the
number 3?
What about the defense?
So
They
here's
lost
the thing.
Aaron Donald.
You lose Aaron Donald, but guess what happened? 13 straight offensive players taken in the draft. Rams were the 14th team, and we're like, oh, sweet. They got the best edge rusher in the draft. So to me, I think you're not going to replace the production of Aaron Donald. It's not possible. But that's a great way to start. You know, if I'm getting a real pass rusher now, like someone, because Donald is not a D end, he's a D tackle. And obviously you need to double team him, but he couldn't, even in his older age, couldn't blow it up as much. He still, if you look at, stats on PFF, I'm not the biggest PFF guy, but you look at, all his crazy stats, like how many percentage of being blocked and pressure percentage, he was still amazing. But to me, I think the Rams, I think they're going to be deadly, and I'm seeing a little Super Bowl hangover with these Niners coming right up here.
I will say McVay is the best at getting the most out of what he has and really, turning players offensively for the most part into what they're meant to be and more. But I just think you look at that defense and you look at the division they play, I don't know if they're going to be able to stop the Niners' run. Like I'm looking at their interior. They lose Donald up the nose, like you're saying, and it's just going to be hard for them to. I always just you gotta think about the divisional games. They're going to play the Niners twice, and I don't know if they're at that level defensively to compete with them. I can see a shootout happening in one of those games, and depending on how it goes, Purdy throws a few picks, you could pull out the win. But
I see it split. I don't see them. I don't see a reality where they get swept this year by the Niners.
McCaffrey's just too good.
They are
McCaffrey's
so damn good. They are so damn good, and I don't know. It's hard to imagine the Niners don't take that div for me, but I definitely like the way the Rams looked last year.
They were in a rebuild last year, and it was like, okay, they don't really have it. And they made the playoffs and were a couple plays away from beating the Lions, and the Lions, who I think are a great team. So to me, it's like Rams are almost right there with them. I would say not as good as the Lions still, but who is a better quarterback, honestly, in that conference than Matt Stafford?
If you're ranking it on quarterbacks, Matt Stafford is at the top of the list. And
most divisions are won when you have the best quarterback. That's just the way the NFL works these days.
You're not wrong about that, but the Niners are the kings of just going against that logic. You know what? The Rams' run game was phenomenal last year with Kyren Williams. When he was healthy, that team could really pound. That was like the key, to be honest.
It really was.
Once he started to get going, that's when you started to see
opened up everything for them.
Yeah, the huge games from Puka, solid games from Cooper Kupp when he came back from injury.
And if you look at a couple games they lost, okay, so they got blown out early in the season against Dallas, fine. And then they lose Stafford for a couple games, lose most of those. They had Baltimore on the ropes. They were up by 2 touchdowns late in the game. They lose in overtime on like a punt return. So to me, if a couple of these losses just turn into wins, this team is someone you want nothing to deal with. To me, they're Super Bowl or bust without question, because how long does Stafford have left?
Yeah.
Would you be surprised if the year after this, when he retires? No one would be.
Lucas, you just hate the Niners, it seems like. You just got this vendetta against the Niners.
Yeah, I get it. Purdy's he's not the best, but
I was giving
regular season it works.
Analysis, and you come here talking about my emotions?
Yeah, I'm targeting your emotions here, man. Okay. It's the 49ers. You can't talk about them. You can't think that the Rams will split the series with the 49ers. They're just superior.
Flat out getting swept.
Yeah. They're just superior in every way. And Stafford, he's an old cow.
We just talked.
He's an old cow at this point, man. I don't trust Stafford as much as I did years ago.
So they're better at running back. O-line is extremely debatable at this point. The quarterback, Rams are better, right?
But it's a different system. It's a different system.
Yeah, it's a different great system. Whatever.
I'm just saying, Purdy, it's not the same type of quarterback. Purdy really grew into his role throughout these years of just knowing he's got to skill players. He's just got to get the ball in their hands quickly. Or there's just great schemes that are drawn up for him too.
I wonder if Stafford
I think
knows that, or
he does it, but I just think it's the way that the 49ers operate is more efficient.
maybe in the run game.
What's the situation on Ayuk and Samuel? Are they completely Niners heading into this season?
So Ayuk is yet to be paid, and he wants to be paid. He's not showing up to any mini camps yet or anything. But they're not really in a position to give him number one receiver money because Debo's already making mad money. Now McCaffrey's making more money. They're already paying Juszczyk the most for a fullback. They're paying Kittle second best money at that position. They're paying Bosa the best money. They're paying so much money everywhere. So with Ayuk, they have decisions to make. One, they can either just let him sit out. Will he sit out? Will he play? I don't know, because they still have him under contract. So, that's not really a thing. They could try to trade him, but then that's Purdy's favorite weapon. There's a lot. They're in flux.
I was about to say, if they don't have Ayuk heading into the season, I'm almost with you on the Rams taking the division, but then they went and they drafted this Ricky Pearsall guy with their first round. They drafted wide receiver, and I watched the guy's tape. He's super explosive. So, he's exactly what they can mold and use. They could just really go short game and just go jet sweeps, check downs, Kittle as more of a receiving option, because Kittle has really gotten the short end of the stick in these last 2 years with the emergence of Ayuk and Debo. He's really taken a back seat where they could kind of invest more into Kittle as a receiver. I think they have what they need to even fill that void of Ayuk, which is crazy to say.
Yeah, if he translates, yeah. Anyway.
It is. There's question marks.
Anyway, let's move on to the AFC here. We can make this one a bit quicker here. What takeaways you take from our orders?
Looking at the orders.
Who's your one seed? Is it anyone other than the Chiefs? Let's start with that.
Oh, wow. With the loss of Snead, it's tough because he was so dang good for the Chiefs last year.
Still McDuffie, though.
Is there any word on Rice suspension? Is that happening?
Everything I've read makes it look like he's getting suspended because of both incidents probably combined. Yeah. First, the car accident that he helped to cause, and then whatever is alleged about him with this photographer calling them over and assaulting them. The NFL, I know, is looking into it, but if he's taking a suspension for both, I don't know how that's not going to be any less than 6 games.
And if that's the case, then they're shorthanded on the offensive side, which Patrick Mahomes can work with it. But I think, like in the regular season, we saw them struggle.
In every game they lost last year, it was because they just turned the ball over too much. And it was all the young guys basically contributing.
Exactly. Yeah. It was drop passes. The week 1 game against the Lions, they should have had that one.
Tony special.
That set the tone for how the Chiefs' regular season went. Obviously, they just turned into a completely different team in the postseason. But it'll be interesting. I don't think it's free reigns for them to take number 1 seed in the AFC. I think I would probably go, as much as I don't think they're the best team in football. Eli might have it right based on
there we go.
No.
Yeah, there we go.
AFC West. Easier division. Chiefs will have the better record.
Nah, man. Ravens got Derrick Henry, man. People forget that.
I know.
People forget that. That's actually crazy.
Hey, they lost Patrick Queen, bud. They lost Gus Bus.
All right, and they replaced him with the best running back ever.
That AFC North is such a
problem.
There are so many question marks that are left unanswered right now, where it's just like, I don't know. I don't even know who's going to win that division. The Ravens should, but
if Burrow's healthy, I think they're going to split with everyone.
Lamar last season, every regular season game, he was just tearing it up, man.
There was a lot going wrong with the Bengals, Steelers, and Browns last year. I think they had a lot that they looked at and they were like, that's not how we planned it to go. Steelers somehow ended up getting a winning record out of it. I have no idea how they pulled that.
Always Mike Tomlin just somehow.
Yeah, just the Mike Tomlin magic. They probably should grow along with the Browns and along with the Bengals. Will probably recapture that form that they had.
I think they're coming back.
Jameis Winston, Deshaun. I don't trust that.
It wouldn't surprise me if they were a great team. It's kind of like the thing,
A great team, I would be surprised. Good team.
Yeah, good team. The North is a little too unpredictable right now. The Texans might just sweep the AFC South. Like the team they have, that's a tremendous team, and they'll probably have one of the top records in the AFC. So I don't even think it's crazy to take the Texans. Texans, Chiefs, or Ravens for sure. One of those three for me. I think the AFC East is going to be a crapshoot in those divisional games. They'll probably split a ton.
One question I have here is Eli has Miami in. I don't, even though I'm a Dolphins fan. I just think they got worse. And I have Pittsburgh in. So who do you think is more likely to make it? Pittsburgh or Miami?
Who did the Dolphins lose? What's your concern?
So they lost a ton of pieces on the defensive side. Van Ginkel, Wilkins, all their pass rushers basically, which I think is a massive problem. And as usual, I just am not impressed by their draft. They just don't draft particularly well. Tua being healthy might be an outlier. That was the first full season he's played. Now, when he was on the field, he was good, unless it was the tiniest bit chilly or they were against a team with a winning record. I think they only beat one team with a winning record last year, and that was Dallas. And we know what Dak looks like against winning teams as well. So it's like, it's just a Dak versus Tua. Like, who wants to choke this one more? I don't believe in Tua as a quarterback. I think he's good. I don't think he can ever get you over the edge. I think he needs a ton of help, and I just don't see how they got better at all.
I agree with you that I don't think they got any better on paper, but I do believe in that offense, and I do really like how they favored the run game to support Tua last year.
Yes.
And I'm a big believer in Mike McDaniels. I think he's tremendous, and he's done like very well with that group. That offense is too dang good. They're going to be scoring too many points, and the defense is a concern, but they did go edge rush with their first pick, and the defense still looked decent. With the Steelers, it's like
there's so many question marks there.
The Tomlin effect makes you believe that they would get there, but it
does. They just
really
sneak in all the time. They plague us all.
Do we believe in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields? It's like,
how are they going to split that?
Exactly,
I don't,
right?
but I do
That's
believe in
gonna be a
TJ
headache.
Watt. I'll tell you that.
There's more team chemistry on the Dolphins, I feel.
I think they believe in each other, and I think that offense is explosive enough to will them into playoff position. And we talked about it. The
I
AFC
think that's
North
a
is
wash, where it's like Miami believes in their offense, but Pittsburgh believes in their defense, and the rest is like...
the division's tougher. Pittsburgh plays in a tougher division.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, you're super high on the Jets, but I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So that one's a really tough one, Steelers versus Dolphins.
Just to wrap this part up here, take 30 seconds or a minute, look at our lists. Whose do you drive with more? Also, you can't say Eli's.
Okay. Otherwise, what would happen?
Noted.
I don't know.
Yeah.
An asteroid would hit Earth.
Oh, okay.
Take your time here.
30 seconds to a minute.
Get a good look at Eli's stupid list.
It's so stupid.
So stupid, it's genius.
Do you guys have the same teams, just in different orders for NFC?
No,
You have
because
Eagles and Cowboys, and
he
Lucas
is
has...
Cowboys, yeah, and I have Rams.
Oh, you don't have Rams, Eli?
No.
Oh, he doesn't like that. Doesn't like that.
But Cowboys. Oh, wait, he doesn't like the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't like the Cowboys, man.
Boy.
That's just crazy.
They re-signed Zeke. Let's
Absolute legend.
So the man. There's still lots of the offseason left, though. Do you really think that Zeke is going to be their number one back? No, they're going to still try to find someone.
This dumb quote from Mike McCarthy? It says the
Rico
team will
Dowdle.
use 2 or 3 running backs, whatever it takes. That's what Mike McCarthy had to say. He has no idea what's going on.
I know.
Whatever it takes.
Unless they trade for Najee Harris, they're not going to have a serviceable running back.
Forget about running back. The Cowboys' run game looked like complete garbage last year. It wasn't.
Yeah, that was Paulie's fault.
Wait. Is it safe to say that I won the NFC?
Or is it safe to say I won the NFC?
Let me just say, Lucas wins the NFC for sure.
Okay.
You mother.
Okay.
Get off this pod.
I'm taking away points from both of you guys for the Chicago Bears pick. That one I don't agree with.
I should have put Bucks in mind, Lucas.
Yeah, if you had Bucks, you
would have won with flying colors.
You know how to schmooze me, man. You got to put the Bucks in there. First speed, bye.
Damn. All right.
Super Bowl
AFC.
champs, AFC.
Super Bowl champs. Baby.
Basically, Miami and Steelers is the.
Well,
difference.
Look at the order too. Don't just go for that, right?
I'll make it.
Don't make it even.
I'll
make it even. Just for
No, it's not. It's not.
Not for
why?
Not for
Why? I want to know why.
You can't sleep tonight now, eh? You little.
This is bull.
What I like
Utter
Miami over the Steelers, obviously.
Ugh.
Yeah,
And I like
Well, I hope you're right.
Lucas doesn't like the Ravens here.
I got Ravens number 1.
Hey, man, they lost a lot of defensive pieces, man. Like you said, that division is better this year than last year.
They did. Bills
Same
is
old Lamar.
interesting. Or below the Bills is interesting because the Bills lost as many pieces.
Bills
and-
lost Diggs, man.
I'm only having it because Bills are winning the division, though, right? So it's like they have no choice but to be above the
Well,
Ravens.
yeah, you hate your own team, which is not a me problem. That's a you problem.
Well, I don't
love the
hate my own
Buccaneers.
team. I just don't trust them. Well,
You're
maybe-
blinded by your hate for them.
Yeah. Well, you loved the Browns all those years too, and how far that get you? Not
me
too far,
too.
did it, buddy?
Hey, one playoff win, more than that entire organization can say for the past 20 plus
And
years.
guess what? More than my Dolphins have won
Yeah.
forever.
If one of you guys had the Jets, maybe I'd be flying to one side because you guys have the Bills and Miami, or you don't have
Oh, yeah.
Miami. You just have the Bills.
He doesn't even think
No,
Miami
I
is
can't-
making
yeah,
it.
I can't buy. this. I
Okay,
can't buy
all
this.
right, all right, all
I
right.
can't
all right.
buy this. You
Okay,
have the
okay.
Bills,
Yeah.
who I think are
Okay.
kind of mid.
Wait.
Just winning the division by far. That means that they're kind of destroying everyone, doesn't it?
Well, not
Kinda in a
destroying.
way?
I think they're gonna win it probably.
It means destroying, Lucas. It means
doesn't.
destroying.
Okay, I can't do this anymore. Time to move on.
You can't do it anymore, or you lost. Which one
Well,
was
no,
it?
we
no
actually
Bucks
tied.
in
We actually
there.
tied.
You have
Well,
no Bucks and no Jets in there. If I'm like taking my own bracket, I don't like either.
Okay, next time you're on, we're gonna have your own bracket. That was already in the works. Trust me, I had it on the old noggin.
I'm cooking.
the old
And-
close noggin, huh?
And we can have Joel's in here. What we'll do is we'll bring Joel's ranking in here as well, and we'll do ranked voting, where we
Yeah.
each vote someone else's thing.
You guys can just all
Seems
roast
mischievous.
mine because mine will be absolutely ridiculous.
Of course, I'm gonna
probably.
roast yours, Mr. Bucks lover and Jets lover. You're just gonna be dog.
Yeah.
I
All
love
right.
that run defense.
Great. How exciting. Moving on here. It's time for some trivia wars. Now, how this works, Raine. You're going to get to go first because you are guest starring here.
Peter.
So, how it works is okay.
You hear that, Eli?
Okay, you see, Eli's complaining. So, I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to have, I'll say 20 seconds. We'll do a 20-second limit. And if you get it wrong, whatever, Eli's turn. He gets to go. That's it. I've got 11 questions just in case you guys somehow tie, which does happen actually more often than not. So I guess I shouldn't say somehow.
This will be a blowout.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
by me.
Okay.
I'm the back-to-back champ right now.
Are you guys ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Which player has rushed for exactly 48 first downs for 3 years in a row?
Exactly 48 first
Holy,
downs.
that
years
is-
in a row.
There
That's
you
the
Can I
most
ask a
specific
question?
question I've heard.
Did not ask a question yet.
It's like 20
If
questions.
you guys keep messing it up, then I'll give hints.
I don't even know like what a good measurement for that is.
Derrick Henry.
Off the top of my
I
head.
don't know.
No.
Josh Jacobs.
Nope.
This one's super bold. Patrick Mahomes.
No.
Quarterback. Holy man.
That guy gets a lot of 2-yard first downs.
I did say player technically.
Justin Fields.
Joe Mixon?
No.
This is crazy.
Time's ticking.
Nick Chubb.
Nope.
Actually, no, wait, that was dumb.
No. Too late. Too late. Too late.
Buddy.
Burnt.
Oh, God. Josh Jacobs.
Can you already say that? Still no.
I said
Or
that.
Eli
I said that. I said
Eli
that,
said
dog.
You did?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
You love Josh Jacobs. Why would you guess him first?
I don't love him.
You
I
should
don't
see his
him.
love for Tajay Spears.
I don't love him. You love Marvin Mims.
I agree with that. I love Tajay Spears too. He's awesome.
Okay.
Let's go with Alvin Kamara.
Wow. No.
Yeah,
Really?
No way. That
No.
guy doesn't have 48 rushing attempts. This
You
guy
don't
just
think
has-
so?
Hey, you can't say that. No Kamara slander here.
Just gonna name every running back in the NFL. Christian McCaffrey?
No.
James Conner.
No.
Ah,
Can we get like a hot, cold NFC, AFC?
Person is in the AFC.
Lamar?
Yeah.
oh,
Boom. Yeah.
I knew it was quarterback.
I couldn't believe it when you said
Man.
Mahomes and then Eli was going with Fields. Okay.
48 feels low.
Yeah, it's kind of low. I was like, someone is
Yeah.
going to say Lamar now. And then you guys started just leaning towards the backs.
all right,
But,
whatever. I come back. That's one thing you should know.
Okay, 1-0 for the Rain Man. Eli, your turn to start. Which receiver was 10th in total yards?
I'm gonna go with
Time's a ticking.
man. I'm going with
5, 4.
Munro.
No.
Buddy.
Don't buddy me. That's a beautiful pick.
Okay, 20 seconds on the clock, Rain.
Garrett Wilson.
No.
AJ Brown.
Nope.
Devontae Adams.
Nope.
Ayuk.
Nope.
I know I'm getting close. I can feel it.
Olave.
No.
Mike Evans. Going with your boy, Rain.
It is
You're
not.
fucking
Mike Evans was 9, not 10.
Oh!
Actually?
Yeah. AJ Brown was 5, by the way. Who else did you say? Amon-Ra, he was 3.
Oh, that just messed me up. I thought Mike Evans had like 1,400 yards or something. 1,300 yards.
Olave was 17.
Devonta Smith?
No.
Pittman.
Nope. Pittman's
Bill Pitt
14.
No, no way. No way JJ weaseled in.
No.
Let's go with Diggs. Stephon Diggs.
Nope.
Oh.
Nico
He used-
Collins.
Diggs is 13. It is not Nico Collins. He's 8.
Oh, come on.
Dancing around number 10 here.
I know it's some weird low-key here, but also Gino. You know, some weird combination.
That makes absolutely no sense.
You know, like right in the middle. I gotta find this zone here.
You're so
A
right.
state of
Eli. I know
zen,
what
if you
you're
will.
saying.
Let me go with DJ Moore.
No, DJ Moore's number 6.
Oh
Guys looking stuff up. Look at him.
no, this is off the dome. The dome, pal.
No, he's lost too many times to be looking stuff up.
That was harsh.
Sorry.
And uncalled
Low
for.
blow. I'm sorry.
And I almost tied things up with Joel. I won last time, so
I
yeah,
apologize.
I don't accept it.
Okay. Rain, come on. It's a name here. Number 1 receiver.
Calvin Ridley.
No.
Puka.
That was such a bad guess.
I don't even know where Calvin Ridley is. Puka's
Yeah.
number 4, but now for the hint that I said I was going to
No.
give. He's in the AFC.
Keenan Allen?
No, he's number 11.
Oh, he's in the NFC too, but I was thinking Chargers.
He was AFC.
Evan Engram.
No. Wow, tight end. Wow.
Old.
He was mucking. Though.
Yeah, also the question was which receiver, though.
Oh, Amari Cooper.
It is Amari Cooper.
No.
Oh,
Amari Cooper, number 10.
he had a very solid year.
1,250 yards, courtesy of Joe Flacco, mostly.
I needed that.
Okay, next. Which QB hasn't thrown for 300 yards in 23 straight games? Rain, you start.
I really hope it's not my boy, but it feels like such a Baker Mayfield stat. Jared Goff.
No.
Zach
Pass.
Wilson.
Nope.
Russell Wilson.
No.
Jimmy G.
No. That's a good guess, though.
Oh, I thought it would work.
Mac Jones.
No.
Daniel Jones.
No.
I think I know it.
Oh, Justin Fields.
No.
Oh,
Pickett.
come on.
It's not Pickett.
No.
And Pickett's not starting.
Well, he was all of last year.
He's starting this year.
Okay. We clarify that.
Well, I said he's a starting quarterback. I feel like
Yeah,
we'll get
and
that.
he was a starting quarterback.
He was. I said he is.
And that's the season we're talking about.
You have
Last
a
season.
tenuous grasp on the English language, it appears.
Excuse me, man. You phrased that terribly.
Okay.
Gotta be specific here.
Rain,
Details matter.
Rain, come on now.
You know,
Let's go away. No. That would be hilarious, though.
Dude, don't you dare say my boy Jeans.
this is a crazy one.
I'm tripping with my brain right now.
It's so easy.
Is it actually?
I don't know.
Derek Carr?
Nope. What do you think he didn't throw for 300 yards?
He was.
They employed Chris Olave, dude.
Actually, dude, I have no idea. So I was actually putting a number in on my head. I have no idea. Gosh, Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, not that name.
This is all time bad.
Narrow it down, bro. Narrow it down.
Really? There's not that
Yeah,
many. There's only 32 of these guys.
No.
Okay, I'm narrowing it down. He's
fine. Don't narrow it down then. You're gonna be about it.
Oh.
Trevor Lawrence.
No! Dumb guess.
Narrow it down.
Once again, he's in the AFC.
Is it Lamar Jackson?
No.
Did I say that already?
No. Don't think
That would be insane, man.
Money lie. Chance to steal.
I mean, the only guy I can.
Think of is
Jacoby Brissett?
No, I said starting quarterback.
He is starting.
For who?
The Browns.
No, he isn't.
Is he?
It's Deshaun Watson, bro.
He should be starting, man.
You know what? He might start for the Pats. But the answer is incorrect. And it's just looking at quarterbacks in the
I'm
AFC.
literally just looking at the AFC teams, and I can't think of the quarterback who's bad on any of these teams.
Okay, here we go, Raine. 15 seconds.
I'm just gonna start naming off the best quarterbacks.
Do it. Do what you gotta do.
Josh Allen.
No.
That's your point, man. I'm giving you a point.
You're like, come on, man. You have to get this.
That's Mahomes and
Yeah.
Allen. That's Burrow and be a man.
Stop guessing Brissett.
I guessed him once. Can't stop guessing. Now look who's got a in the English language.
It has nothing to do with the English language.
It does, actually. It literally does. Directly correlates.
It sure does.
Oh, I know who it
Starting.
is.
Yeah, you have to get it. Eli, 10 seconds.
Don't give me a timer. I'm thinking, buddy.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Say
Will
your
Levis.
name! No.
What did he say?
Will Levis. He hasn't even played that many games.
Dude, I
Raine-
don't know, man.
Raine, who is it?
Did I not say? Is it Justin Fields?
You already guessed that, but
Yeah.
I
no,
thought I
it's
did.
not.
You already guessed
Oh,
that.
who is it?
Eli.
We've named every quarterback.
No, you haven't. Eli, chance to steal.
Jimmy G.
7, 6,
Justin Herbert.
5. No.
Like, I've got no other options at this point.
The
So it might be down to
He's-
one quarterback
He's
for
a
Raine.
starting quarterback in the AFC.
No, he's not.
We've named them all, man.
Raine, let's go. 15 seconds.
Gardner Minshew.
No, but that's a fine guess, I guess, you know, for starting for the Raiders.
The last 23 games?
Guys, this year, he's a starting quarterback. In the
Wait,
AFC.
I feel like
He's
you've said
gonna
that
be the
before.
starter in Denver, isn't he? Or is it going to be Bo Nix?
I think it's going to be Bo Nix. Eli, 10
I've been
seconds.
through every team, bro.
10 seconds.
Okay, Joe Burrow.
No. Raine.
There's no other team.
Literally, I'm actually siding with
This is
Eli.
baffling.
There's no other team.
There
that
is.
Like, you can't say Tua.
There is. Here's
Because
what it
obviously
is.
that's not
Here's
him.
what you guys are doing. You're not looking at a team because you already said someone who played on it, and you're not thinking of this year.
Oh, it's a trade.
Raine.
Someone's starting
what
on it.
does that mean?
10 seconds, Raine. This is so funny. This is incredible.
Justin Herbert.
You already said that. Come on,
I'm
guys.
just recycling.
Eli, let's go. 10 seconds. We're lowering the time. This is crazy. 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're
Patrick Carter.
out. I don't know who that is. Raine.
Really, man?
Is it
10.
Bailey Zappi?
No, he's a starting quarterback in the AFC. can't
Okay,
do
name
this.
the division
I
now.
can't do this.
Go
I
to
can't do this.
division.
Okay, can I name the division, Raine? Are you fine with that?
Yeah, give it to. I won't
Eli.
try to get it.
Eli, it's the
Thank
AFC. It's the AFC East.
No
10,
way, it's
9,
Tua.
5. Holy shit! Still didn't get it. Raine.
there's no way.
It is.
Miss Aaron Rodgers.
It is.
Okay, you little. Such a stupid trick question, man.
No, it isn't. He's a starting
That is a-
quarterback in the AFC.
That's a trick
That can't
question.
make it any more
Yes.
clear.
Okay, yeah, his last 23 games, he hasn't got over, what, 300 yards? He was hurt for that whole season last year. That's
No.
crazy.
No.
Those are his
Even
active
before
games,
that.
eh?
Yes.
Wow, that is
Games.
insane.
That's just trippy to think about, though. He was hurt all last season.
So insane.
He didn't play at all,
You guys
man.
said Zach Wilson like Jacoby.
I just thought he was like too good for that. I
Yeah,
like
see?
thought of Aaron Rodgers.
That's what I was saying earlier. It was like he's been average for a long time.
All right, let's move on.
You're down 3-0. You had every chance, Eli. Come on.
Yeah, no
Okay.
dumbass question.
Which team had the worst field goal percentage?
Let's go with Titans.
No.
I know who it is.
Seahawks.
No.
It is
The Chargers.
Nope.
Let's go Falcons.
It sure isn't.
Oh God, I forgot who I was gonna say.
By the way, the Titans were the best. That was like your first guess, Raine. They
I
were the
thought
best.
Dallas would have been.
No, that was Eli's dumb guess.
Oh,
Mine wasn't.
okay.
The Browns.
Nope.
Bengals.
Nope.
The cat's out of the bag. I don't know. The Denver Broncos.
Nope.
Patriots.
Yep.
Let's go.
Boom. There you go.
Let's
3-1.
go.
Wow. No way.
I needed that. I come back.
Quite a bit too. 64%. They were really bad at kicking field goals last year.
That's brutal.
What was the longest field goal of the year?
Can I get a bonus point for guessing who did it?
Sure.
Sure.
No, actually no.
I'm gonna get it wrong anyways.
No, that's
Was
tough.
it
No.
62.
No. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was.
Whoa. Hey, what is that?
Yeah, sorry. Well, if I didn't correct myself, you would have screwed him over. Yeah, it's 62. You know, it wasn't even like 63, 64, 62. Arizona Cardinals. Who they have? Matt Prater?
I said 63.
Okay, Eli, you're in a hole here. 4-1. You need to get.
I've been in holes before. I can get out.
Okay.
Don't clip that.
No, we're keeping that. We're keeping that. Okay. Which team was the best in the league when it came to yards per reception?
And I'd go Dolphins.
No, they were number 3.
The Rams.
No, they were number 4.
Texans.
No, they were number 2.
No.
Oh, Eli.
This is crazy.
The Chiefs.
No.
The Cowboys.
No.
This is like a outside the box one. The Saints.
No.
The Saints, bro. What the heck? Olave is dialing it in for them.
Well, yeah, I just figured a team that with a quarterback who likes to throw the ball long. I don't know.
Eagles.
No.
It's the Niners.
It is the Niners. Yeah.
I was going to guess them.
And this
I was
guy.
about to guess them.
He's right about this being a blowout. Eli, you have to get the next 4 questions right for you to have any chance of continuing this game.
There.
Who gets start here? Is it?
Raine.
Oh boy. Which team was last in receiving touchdowns?
That's a good question.
I know this. Easy.
You don't know it.
I do.
You don't know it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Is it the New Orleans Saints?
It's not.
It is the Zach Wilson led Jets.
It is.
Oh wow!
I
How
did-
many?
I did-
What I
did
say,
you-
man?
How
What I
did you know
say?
that? The Jets were 32nd with only 11 receiving touchdowns.
I mean, the
Because I
Saints.
watched all last season, man. They were so bad.
Saints were tied for 8th with 28.
Who was catching touchdowns?
Dude, Olave, man.
I don't know, actually.
Olave Kamara was catching them, too.
Even Denver is tied for 8 with them, and the Chiefs and the Bucks.
Wow, that's crazy spread, man. They must have had like 4 guys with like 6 or 7.
Next question.
First
Eli,
standard.
you get to go first. Yeah, 4 standard. Oh, which team, Eli, had the most rushing touchdowns?
Come on, doofus.
Huge
I'm
advantage.
going with the Eagles.
I messed up the question because there's 3 teams tied for first.
Oh,
So I can either make up a new question or tell you 2 of the teams, and you have to guess the third. What do you guys want?
tell us the 2. Guess the 3rd.
The Niners and the Dolphins are tied for first with this team.
Oh, the Lions.
It is the Lions, yeah. Raine, you go first here. Which team threw the least interceptions?
Bengals?
No.
Packers.
Nope.
Good guess. You're on fire, Eli. Look at you.
Yeah,
I just need to get some good questions going.
Seriously.
don't blame the guy with the questions, buddy. Blame your knowledge.
The Ravens.
Wow, he got it.
No.
No way. What a guess. Lamar
Damn.
Jackson?
Good job. That's
Doesn't
it.
throw enough. Like whoever's not throwing enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 picks.
I was going to go
And,
with those Texans.
And the
next.
MVP too. You
Texans
know, he's got to keep the
Packers.
turnovers down if he wins MVP.
Yeah, Texans tied for second with the Chargers. They each had 8.
Damn.
Yeah, so there it is. Another day of Trivia Wars, another loss for Eli. What can you
I
do?
won the last time, so not
Did you?
another day,
Did
another
you?
loss.
Oh,
I did.
I don't remember.
Of course,
That
you
was a
blank
good-
out
that
my
was a good
wins.
mini comeback though.
That was really
Thank
good.
you.
almost came
I had
back
to make
there.
it competitive there.
It was close
but
at the end there, but Raine's
Yeah.
first time ever doing Trivia Wars. He pulls it out. He pulls it
Whatever.
out. Well,
Beginner's luck.
don't say whatever, and don't
Yeah,
say beginner's
beginner's
luck
luck.
either. Anyway, Raine, it was great, laddie. We're gonna have you on again for sure if you'll come back.
Absolutely. It was a
Thanks for
pleasure.
joining.
We're gonna need to have your little playoff list, and we're gonna have to rip that thing an absolute new
To
one.
hear your guys' opinions on the Bucks versus the Jets in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Two
That's even
absolute
joking.
noodles at quarterback.
Save that for the next pod. Huh?
Noodles. Baker Mayfield's a big boy.
Yeah, please. He's short as bro. I didn't
Can
know
swing that ball.
Yeah, I didn't know they piled.
Oh God! Now, no, you know what? I don't know if I want to be on this show ever again.
Oh, don't say that. I was
Disrespecting my
kidding. I
favorite-
love Baker.
disrespecting my boy like that. Almost Sunday.
Lucas, calm down, man.
Yeah, okay. I take it back. And hey, we're
Baker's
gonna have
riling
Joel
you
on
up.
here as well, and then we'll all do our Super Bowl picks when it's time for the season to pile out here, and any last minute amendments. I know Joel needs to do some. I know Eli needs to do some. So
Son of Mendel.
Son of Mendel will return. That's it for this week's edition of the Almost Sunday podcast. Like and subscribe. I dare you.
Peace.